main function of BHP rod and bar is the production of steel. Our steel is used by the construction industry, the automotive and communications industries, and farming. There are many people that play a specific role in maintaining the high standards of production at Rod and Bar. It is imperative that all contractors and their employees observe our safe working rules and practices. Your cooperation in accident prevention is the key to a safe plant. Access to the site may be gained through the specified entry points found at the main gate, Ingle Street and Toole Street. There are car parking areas located near the main gate and Ingle Street entrance. The Toole Street car park is located inside the plant. The security officials control the entry and exit from the works, and they also enforce plant rules like road safety, theft and other acts of misconduct. So always comply with reasonable requests given by a security officer. All contractors must report to security on their first day at the works. Any vehicle driven at Rod and Bar must be registered by security. You must report to the main gate security personnel who will inspect the vehicle, then issue a pass. Contractors' private vehicles are not permitted in the works. However, contractors working in the western area may park in the Bar Mill car park. Passes are required and are obtained from main gate security. People found in possession of illegal drugs on the works will be removed and the police notified. The consumption of alcohol on the works is also forbidden. Any person found to be under the influence will be removed and possibly refused further work. Theft of any private property or the property of Rod and Bar, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, will be treated with the utmost gravity. Police will be notified, and this could result in your being refused further work. Violent or threatening behaviour will not be tolerated at Rod and Bar. Police may be notified and future work will be refused for those involved. Practical jokes often end in injury or tragedy. Practical jokes and horseplay are forbidden for the safety of all. Any person driving a vehicle on the works must hold the appropriate Road Traffic Authority licence for the vehicle being driven. Any person driving a forklift, mobile crane, overhead travelling crane, front-end loader, or operating an explosive power tool, or even carrying out rigging work, must possess the relevant work cover certificate of competency. Road rules apply on the works just as they do on public roads. The rules apply for cars and mobile equipment such as forklifts. The speed limit on the works is 25 kilometres per hour, unless otherwise signposted. Rules for parking within the works are much the same as normal street parking. You must not park in a dangerous or obstructive fashion in any area or disobey the no parking signs. Any loss of valuables from a vehicle or damage to vehicles is the responsibility of the owner. Rod and Bar will not be liable for theft from or damage to vehicles. So be sure to lock vehicles when parked on the works or car park. Should theft or damage occur, however, please report it to security. Infringement of traffic rules will result in the offender being issued with an infringement notice. Each offence has a point value. Special plant rules are outlined in the Works Traffic Code. When 10 points are reached, the offender will be denied the right to drive on the works for 30 days. Subsequent offences will result in longer periods of suspension. There are several hazards that you can encounter on site at Rod and Bar. It is essential that you can recognise these hazards and know the correct procedures to avoid these hazards. Naturally, at Rod and Bar, you will encounter many hot objects. These can be steel billets stacked on rail cars, blooms, slag pots on the crest carrier and rail cars, iron in torpedo cars, and finished steel products on cooling racks. Remember to give way to trains. Look both ways before crossing rail lines. Rail crossings can be found all over the works, so be alert. Stay on footpaths and stand well back while they're passing. The crest carrier crosses the road near the steelmaking department. This crossing is controlled by bells and a red signal, so you must stop well back when these signals are operating. Mobile equipment like this front-end loader can be encountered at any location of the works. Heavy equipment like cranes and forklifts cannot stop as fast as cars, so be careful of mobile equipment when rounding corners or walking past workshop doorways. Gas is produced in coke ovens like this one behind me. It is stored in gas holders and piped to departments where it is used as a fuel. Coke oven gas is highly flammable and if inhaled at sufficient concentrations can kill. It is present at coke ovens, blast furnaces, the sinter plant and all rolling mill furnaces. Blast furnace gas is even more dangerous as it has no smell and is extremely toxic. Restricted areas have hazards which can cause injury or death, so keep out of areas which have these signs. Restricted areas include switch rooms, hot metal areas, gas areas, crane operating areas and confined spaces. If you must enter a restricted area, you must first notify rod and bar supervision before entering. Occupational health and safety laws require personnel to be trained and authorised in safe procedures for entry to any confined space. If in doubt, ask a rod and bar supervisor. These laws are here for your safety. Never enter an area that is roped off with danger flags displayed. Hazards exist in these areas. If you're involved in work that creates a hazard for those wishing to pass through the area, then rope off the area and place clearly visible danger flags around the location. At rod and bar, workers must carry out their tasks in many different locations. Before you work in an area, be sure you check the location of emergency exits. This will assist you should you need to evacuate the area quickly. Work is often carried out at heights, so if you see a men working above sign, keep out of the area as there is a possibility of falling objects. And if you're the one doing the work, then you must see to it that the appropriate sign is posted. And never throw anything, no matter how small. Carry all equipment down or lower it with a rope. Smoking is not permitted where a no smoking sign is displayed. These areas may contain flammable materials that a spark could ignite. Smoking is not allowed in enclosed spaces like offices, control rooms, meeting rooms and lunch rooms. This protects fellow workers from passive smoking. If a fire breaks out, contact rod and bar supervision who will call the fire brigade. If there is no supervisor present, then ring the fire department direct by dialing 3999 on a works phone. Prior to commencing work, make sure you know where the fire extinguishers and fire hoses are located and be sure you know how to use them. The lighting of fires is not permitted on the works. The Occupational Health and Safety Act places a responsibility for workplace safety on BHP, your employer and indeed yourself. Under the Act, Rod and Bar has an obligation to maintain the plant and safe systems of work that ensure health and safety. Your employer has the obligation of ensuring the health, safety and welfare of all their employees while at work. And you have an obligation to work safely, cooperate, support and promote occupational health, rehabilitation and safety. Should a company or individual breach their responsibilities under the Act, heavy fines may be incurred, up to $250,000 for companies and $25,000 for individuals. You may also incur an on-the-spot fine of $50 by an inspector. The building behind me is the health centre, and it's located just inside the main gate. The main services it provides are advice on occupational health and safety matters, information about site rules and treatment of injuries. The health centre will treat any contractor that is injured on site. All minor injuries must be reported to your supervisor or to the health centre. If a co-worker is seriously injured, then follow this procedure. Do not move the injured person unless leaving them puts their life at risk. Notify Rod and Bar Supervision, who in turn will contact the Department First Aid Specialist and Health Centre. If there is no Rod and Bar Supervision present, then ring the Health Centre Ambulance Service direct on 2222 on works phones or 402222 if you have a portable phone. This process will work most effectively if you can state the department, the location of the injured person and the nature of the injury. Remember, the hazard that injured your workmate may still be present, so get help. We don't want two injuries. You are required to wear safety glasses and safety boots at all times on the works. You must wear a safety helmet in designated areas. For your own safety, we prefer you to wear a work shirt, long work trousers and woolen socks while on the job. You must wear appropriate personal protective equipment for the hazards involved in the work you are performing. If you are in doubt as to what you need or what Rod and Bar standards require, ask the supervisor in charge of your contract. At BHP, we aim to make sure that our operations are performed in an environmentally responsible manner. We have a dedicated policy of environmental care. The Environmental Protection Authority can impose heavy fines on both companies and individuals for acts of negligence. Acts of negligence include disposing of substances like oil, solvents, detergents or toxic agents down stormwater drains. Failing to follow standard operating procedures which may cause the discharge of dust, smoke or gas. Action must be taken to prevent spills of contaminated liquid, and if a spill does occur, don't ignore it. Take action to stop it spreading. Do not pour oil or other liquid down the drain. If you're unsure of the safe way to dispose of oil or liquid, just ask Rod and Bar Supervision for advice. Always remember to have appropriate safety and personal protective equipment close at hand in the event of a spill. Basically, we want our operations and processes to be carried out with as little environmental impact as possible. So if you perform your work in a way which minimises environmental discharge of fumes, gas, dust and noise, then you'll help us maintain our standards. Our policy is of great importance. Contractor operations will be monitored regularly, making sure that operations are being carried out according to guidelines. Our equipment maintenance standards are in place to see that Rod and Bar operates safely and effectively. Your standard of workmanship can affect equipment performance. Make sure all work is completed to a safe and suitable standard. Do not make unauthorised changes to plant and equipment. It may create hazards that are not always visible. Report all equipment damage to a Rod and Bar supervisor. Before you commence work on equipment or processes, you must obtain a work clearance from the contract controller or area supervisor. Remember, a confined space requires a separate work clearance. If a service, water, power, air, etc., needs to be isolated, Check first so that other users of the service are not affected. And never under any circumstances remove or bypass any danger tag other than your own. To do so may lead to serious injury of personnel. At BHP Rod and Bar, every employee is responsible for the safety of our working conditions. All contractors and employees must realise the importance of their role in maintaining the safe and efficient operations of the works. Obey the rules and work practices at all times, for your sake and the safety of others.